Hey, good morning. I am going to kill OBS real quick. I have to update something. All right. Ignore the timer. Just gonna get ready to go. How are you today? Still getting things set up. Oh, I dropped something. A little phone stand. No, down between the computers. Okay, got it. I think the only thing I don't have set up is Godot, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and get the scene switcher set up. We're off. All right, so next, what is it we're going to do? We are going to work on TrueType font word wrapping. And I think that it's time to extract some of this stuff out to its own crate, because a lot of it doesn't require Godot. What shall we call the new crate? TTF word wrap. Why not? Cargo, cargo, lib, new lib, TTF word wrap. Off to read a paper. Well, thank you, JB Pratt, and thank you for the resub. How have you been? Man, I miss reading papers. I really do. Going to a coffee shop, sitting down, reading a paper. I really miss that. Enjoy. All right, so there's our TTF word wrap. Let's go ahead and create the repo for it. I'm not using GitHub for this. I'm using the little guys. Source Hut is so far my favorite GitHub alternative. Create a new project. TTF word wrap. Almost. Now with underscores. Sure, it'll be public, etc., etc. We're going to add a bug tracker. Why not? Create a new tracker. Add a mailing list, of course. Announce in development. I doubt we need discuss as well as development. Let's just do that. Source code repo, git. All right, create a new repo. Now that we've got our repo, go to sources, click on that. We'll add this as a remote. Git remote add that. Oh, I forgot to give it a name. Add origin. There we go, get status. I have to admit, I didn't think that I'd be creating a TrueType font word wrapping crate for this project. I really didn't. I will add that, this, no. Now, some of this we're going to pilfer from the other crate. So let's think about this. How do we want to set up this crate? We're going to be using a TTF font. What was it? TTF parser? I think we'll use this because we'll need to have a font type passed in, the font face passed in. And for our test, we'll probably use owned TTF parser. Cargo add TTF parser. toss a help on there. So we can do a --dev. Let's do that for the other one. That's interesting. I wonder how TDF parser works if you don't have, it's not owned. Oh, where do you get the font? So here's the face, font face handle. So you can load this up from a file from Slice. So you have to load it up on your own. And then provide the index to which font you want from inside that data. More than sarcastic Dante. Ooh, I could restart Firefox. Later. I think we'll just embed it in the tests. But we could load it. I mean, it's easy enough to load that. Okay, so we're not going to use that for the tests. Okay. Lib. Yes, we'll go ahead and leave the tests, but I'm going to delete it all. I just said one thing and then did the opposite. There. Oh, you managed to get illegal instruction from cloning a structure? Really? That sounds interesting. I was on mute. We're gonna go ahead and grab some stuff from another project I have. Get probably where is it? Not projects, I want Git. There we go. We're looking for is it Packeteer? It's not in Legacy. Oh, more on my profile. I had to click on my profile to get to the rest of my stuff. Oh, I see. Your wife left you because of your obsession with horoscopes. It tore us apart, didn't she? Want to look at the top of this, source lib. Oh, I don't have it there. Alright, let's go to GitHub. LZ. Stream multiplexer has it. Source lib. It doesn't. All right, what would have this? What I'm looking for is a set of additional kind of compiler hints to forbid certain things. It makes it a lot easier when you're building up a library and you forget to add documentation to something that's public. It whines at you. Let's look at, here, let's go back to crates. All right, we're gonna take maybe the top three. It's kind of a mix between this and oh, fine. We'll change this comment. Wait. So, do you have a playground? Do you have something simple in a playground that would show this? Sarcastic Dante, I am very curious about how that's failing. You might have found a bug in Rust. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is probably set up some test. What should our object look like? Should we have a word wrap object that's configurable? Then you can set this up with either a builder or something else. Let's say that this needs the font. And in this case, we're going to have to pass it, let's say a font face and a size. Just the font face. That means we're going to need a lifetime. Why doesn't that exist? Oh, no, I don't want that one. I just want TTF parser. Did it not know about that? Why is it okay with font now? It shouldn't be. Because we're not importing it. Come on, come on. I want to use my autocomplete on this. Whatever. TTF parser provides font face. They might have it right down here. No examples? Okay. Documentation. Where's font face? TTF parser face. Who would have guessed? Oh, it's called face, not font. Grumble. Okay. Are these clonable? They are. Well, technically, that's still there. But I think this might go away. The borrow is not there because it is a lifetime inside. What's it to? The font data and the table records. I see. You can try, but you doubt it'll show? Well, that's funny. Is there anything exotic in there that's causing an issue? We're going to load a font and return face. Interesting. Can we even do that? That has to have the lifetime of the data. But the data is not here, so we either have to return the data and that at the same time, which might work. That seems a little sketchy. Let's just set this up here. No. Now I see why own TTF parser exists. Let's see, it's a vector. It's probably going to be a vector of U8s. How do we express this in the lifetime terms that we need? Because we don't have that lifetime specified, we'll have to provide it. But that lifetime's the same as this here. Well, whatever that data is going to be. So I think they have a utility function for just loading up into a vector. File. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I want standard file system fs functions read. Yes, that gives you a result. The data. Yeah, this is a little weird because of the lifetime that we need here. And I'm fairly sure this isn't going to work, but I'm going to try it anyways, just to reinforce my understanding of Rust. We're going to give it a path. Now in this case, it's going to be a static path to some font that we have. Let's pretend that we have Roboto here. So we'll do that. It should probably be a result. With a standard IO error as the error, because that's what that'll bail on. And then once we have the font data, then we can create the font face. And how do we create that? From slice. Yeah, I get what's happening here. And there's no way that that's going to work because of the lifetime. So I'll give it the slice, font data, tell it to load index 0. Expect. Should be able to parse. There, should be valid. And this one dot expect. It exists. There we go. Get rid of those. I wonder if we should just stuff this into a macro or something, because we're going to be using that all the time. We'll see. We'll see how bad it gets. All right, so then we have word wrap. We've created a new one. And then what's it going to do? We're going to get back a series of lines based on telling it to wrap some text. So we'll give it a slice, ask it to wrap, and see what happens. Lines is going to be equal to dot word wrap wrap. Maybe we should call it TTF word wrap. We could be a little bit more descriptive. Maybe split lines. Suggestions? What would you expect in a word wrap function? We could look for inspiration here. I think somebody had mentioned a word wrap crate yesterday. Let's take a look. Now it's for monospace stuff. This one, text wrap. fill. So they have options. Options is interesting. We'll probably get to that point. We actually need something for the TTF font. We need to keep that reference. We're going to keep it inside of an object, so we're not going to do something like TTF fill and just provide a function with options. I mean, options, we could use the same sort of pattern, so that you have to provide options, and options must include the font. Okay, they're also using hyphenation, which would be interesting to use, so that you could do things like this. Oh, interesting, and they have indentation. That's neat. Look at that. Well, I don't think we're gonna go that crazy. Good morning, Ektondev. And thank you for the sub. On a 9-month streak. Holy cow. Well, thank you, I appreciate it. How was your stream yesterday? I got called into a bunch of meetings and couldn't hang on. What I find odd here is that they're using fill, but they're not filling anything. Like when I say fill, I want you to fill what I give you. Fill this. Oh, Angry Clippy is awesome. Yeah, I've had a hard time getting back into it myself. I really have. But I think I'm starting to get into a rhythm. This week feels like the turning point. Let me send a password over there. Okay. Oh, interesting. They're actually adding new lines? See, I am not expecting that. I would rather use slices against the original string, and instead of allocating a string with new stuff in it, just have references to the other pieces. But that is interesting. I can see why people would do that. But it does mean that your editor, quote unquote air quotes editor, has to understand what new lines are. The installer I'm trying to run does not work. Oh well. It's not one I liked anyways. Because for me, I would rather have a vector of the lines that I can know how many lines I need right off the bat without having to split it again. But this is interesting. It's a good question, and I do not know. I do not know what I want to do here. I know you've implemented word wrap a number of times. Ecton. For me, I'm going to be creating these things in 3D space, so I could split on new line. That would work fine. And then I would know. An iterator return type for lines or words. Because we could have more information, have something else that describes oh, kind of hard repro. Huh. Interesting. I wonder if it's clobbering something. Or if something else is clobbering your clone. I do like the idea of an iterator. But it's an interesting question. What do we really expect this to do? We need the font face so that we can examine the actual glyphs. Because we're going to need to know, right, what is the horizontal advance for every single glyph. I wonder how fast that is to look up. Right, versus hash map versus this table that they have. Where was it? Over here in TTF parser. Because glyph horizontal advance here, it'll optionally give us a U16, but we have to give it a glyph ID. And in order to get the glyph ID, we have to give a character to the glyph index, etc. So we might need to have some sort of hash table that's able to store the result of this lookup, because we'll have to go character to glyph ID and then glyph ID to horizontal advance. So that seems like a place where we could optimize that. All right. What do we expect words to look like? Should it be a vector of strings? Basically, lines. You looked up each glyph without caching it, and it's pretty fast. That's cool. Did you make a crate for this already? I remember you were working on some UI toolkit stuff. Just wondering if I wasn't able to find a crate that you might have done. Word wrap. Yeah, one thing that I do like from this is that it provides it back to you in a fairly simple result. It says, here you go, here's a string with wraps. And that is neat. I don't know if I like it, but it's neat. As long as your app understands new lines. I think the iterator idea of lines is interesting. So what if the other option would be the iterator? I think this is what you were alluding to or saying, Ekton, having an iterator of strs, where a stir is a line. That's not bad. That's really not bad. I like it better than allocating the next string or inserting things into the string that you don't know how they want it joined. I imagine this could have been maybe an option or something to their options. Let's go this route with the iterator of strs. Let's take a peek. Oh, interesting. So you're actually tokenizing it. That's interesting. That's an interesting idea. A token if needed. Oh, that's cool. Because I was thinking of something much more simple. Yeah, a lot of this does look like it'd be the same. Interesting idea using the spans. But this looks like it would be very... I mean, it looks very correct. I almost want to invert it. Right? Basically, have something that can identify what a token is passed in. Maybe invert's not the right word, but this is another interesting idea. That's why it's decent looking. But it's an interesting idea. I do like the idea of spans. Where do you define span? Spans, prepared span. I see. What else? What else has a span? I mean, standard doesn't have a span, does it? Oh, proc macro has span, of course. Because yeah, what if you did end up getting something that had new lines in it, or other tokens that might advance the line? Nightly only experimental API. Wah, wah. RTF spans. What are RTF spans? Don't. Oh. Oh, I see. Gotcha. Rich text format. Well, that's interesting. Basically, you have a token, you have a span group, which has a number of spans in it, white space, end of line. Interesting. V metrics there. Basically, just a range of text with an associated set of styles. I see. Then you have your tokenizer, so you can basically take things into spans. Yesterday, somebody had mentioned, is Sarcastic Dante? That Japanese characters tend not to have white space between them, but sometimes you'll have two characters in a row that are a word, or multiple characters in a row that end up being a word, and there's crates that help you identify where the words are. I think that's common in other languages as well. And my internet is like bouncing. Yeah. Okay. Kanji? Yeah. So it'd be interesting to be able to solve that as well. Not like we're going to solve it in the sense that it would be interesting for somebody to be able to provide an object that's implemented a trait that knows how to analyze a glyph and tell us, is this part of a word, or is this set of glyphs part of a word? So if we go to lib.rs, Let's see. I forget which crate it was. You only split on is white space? Kanji number parser? Oh, interesting. I still like the iterator idea. So keeping the API simple would be really, really nice. So let's just have a function here. A function wrap. Let's say that's U32. And this is going to be an iterator of stir lines. That might work. You don't do a hyphenation either. It just renders off the edge. It'd be nice to be able to support a hyphenation and also be able to support knowing when words are words, or when more than one character is a word. So if you have a set of words, set of characters, and I guess you could think of it in the same way, like English, where you would be able to hyphenate something. The inverse happens in kanji, where you don't have spaces between words, but some words are actually bound together. Some glyphs are bound together to make a word, and you wouldn't want to split them. All right. Oh. Oh, I have to provide an iterator. Let's just call that hub line iterator. And then we'll have simple iterator or line iterator. Item equals stir. Oh, but now we need lifetimes. Which means, yes, we need this on line iterator as well. And we'll have to fill something in. For the moment, we could probably toss that in like a phantom data or something. Expected one, found 0. And thank you for the help, Acton. So we'll have a line iterator that we return. Actually, this is not A, this is it's called B. So we have a lifetime for the font face and then a lifetime for the text. Okay. Now, let's pretend that we're looking for a way to split kanji for a moment. I do not think this is the text. This is the library I was thinking of. Kanji word. Kanji. I don't know enough about it. Guessing games. Wow. Any ASCII? Let's look at the documentation for a minute. Filtering. Filters on all aren't. Oh, I see. Level 10, etc. Notes on Unicode. Resources. But I remember there being a way to ask the library whether or not something was a word, right? Or to be able to analyze the text and know, okay, maybe these two are a word, but these are all singular. So let's try to be flexible with that. So maybe we do use options. I do like the idea of having some sort of option here. We could have width, we could have some other things, like how we are going to identify where a break is, where it is safe to break. So instead of this, let's toss in options. Let's break these up into a couple files. Just toss it in there for a moment. That's going to grow.
Suddenly you wake up with a start, and your head is sore. Remembering what day it is too late. Did you even mourn? There's no point asking why. Reaffirm your alibi. All those lies you tell about the ones you left behind.
Re-export these. Okay, now we can have some other things that might be specific to those side of those modules. Okay, now for the word wrap. I actually don't like the name line iterator. Whatever. And make that public. These are both public. Good. We'll use options. What else? Line iterator, of course. Oh, that's right. Phantom data was in the iterator? Yes. Now, while this thing produces, stirs lines, internally it might not have those. We might be using spans or something else. It'll probably have a reference to the actual text. We'll have that, which means we can get rid of the phantom data. And it would probably also have the spans or some other structure, right? Have something else there. Then it would iterate through these spans, keeping track of where it had last been and producing the next block of text. I like kind of working backwards on this. What does the interface look like, and how do we make it clean on the inside? I really like this iterator idea. This is nice. All right, now from the spans point of view, what do we need? These spans are going to represent lines. So this iterator, when it's created, will probably be given these two pieces of information before it's returned. Span could be fairly generic. Is there... I wonder if anybody has... text span. Oh, interesting. Usage, Python. Oh, neat. Okay. Split an iterator into contiguous spans. Interesting. One version published. Let's see. Let's take a look at the code. License MIT and Apache, fine. lib.rs. We're gonna fast forward that song. Oh, interesting. So you can have a span that knows its parent. The span is always non-empty. At least one item is provided when iterating over a span. This is because empty spans are handled and discarded by the parent span spy iterator. Gonna go back. Let's see the docs. Spans by key. Docs.rs seems slow today. Either that or my network's kind of foobarred. One or the other. So it takes two functions. The second one, okay, splits the iterator into contiguous spans. Are connected returns true if the two given adjacent items are part of the same span. False otherwise. I see. Items are not compared directly. Instead, a key is made for each item using the key function. Are connected is given the key of the previous item and the key of the current item. I see. This is very short look ahead. I mean, that's what it feels like. Huh. I don't think that would work for us, because it looks like you only get to look at the two adjacent items. And in our case, we're going to be looking at characters, unless we do something ahead of that, but it's all right. Actually, let's... What was... I think I would like to know whether or not the current character is something that can be split on, right? Is this a character where we can wrap text? And I think to know that, you have to ask something else. Given this context, is this splittable? Okay, let's see if we can do that. No idea what's in there yet. I know, it's just tiny little... That's not going to be public. We'll just leave that there. Okay. Oh, no. Go fix our iterator. Missed it. One more time. There we go. Okay. Okay. So in here, we are going to construct a line iterator. We are going to give it our set of spans and the text. Is our text. And whatever the spans are. Probably some vector spans. Just default that out for a moment. Oh, that's right, we didn't have that. Let's generate a new. There we go. That should work. Remove the semicolon. Yes, thank you, Rust Analyzer. Denacron, good Friday to you as well. Technically, this doesn't need to be a vector of spans, but it needs to be something that we can iterate over. Yeah, we'll just take ownership for now. I don't want other people making iterators. It will get an iterator, but not much else. Uh-oh. Let's implement next. We need to know where we are in that vector. So we could either have an iterator, I know what we could do. We could intuiter on that. And then we could save this. Oh, didn't see a Discord notification. I forgot. I absolutely forgot. Thank you for the reminder. I'm going to do that right now. All right. For the rest of the, for everybody else, it is done. All right. I don't know. I don't really care for this song. All I do is count the paper. All right. Going back to the code. Now that that is done. And if anybody else is wondering what he's talking about, we do have a Discord, and I announce most days, all but today. I don't know. I just announced. So every day I stream, I also announce there if you don't get Twitch notifications. And will be equal to that. And yes, what is the type difference? It's just an intuiter of span. Great. That was the wrong one. Wow. There's a bunch. There's vector intuiter. And now we can just get the next one of those, take the span, get the locations it's referring to in the original text, and return that. Self.spans.next. Oh, that's right, and this is an option. So if that's a none, we'll return early. And my music is buffering forever. Gonna restart Pretzel. We're on the surprise me station, so you never know what you're gonna get. Now, given the span, we're going to point back to the original text and return an option, some text. And start dot span dot end. This is probably going to be, should we do inclusive or exclusive? I don't know yet. remove that. Let's go add a start. Start and end seems okay. Oh, it's private. Of course, of course. All right, now we have our start and our end. Some issues. Go fix. I wonder, should font face actually be part of the options? I don't think so. I think it's more required. Let's make sure that's there, expected. That's public. Okay, come on back. So in this case, yes, we decided on the iterator version. I don't know. I'm going to call it wrap for now. I don't have a good option here. This is a test of the word wrap. And we need to give it options. Feels like options should be a builder. We're going to say that the size of the text, because, okay, so TTF parser represents the size of the fonts in EMs, and our options here, let's create, generate new, sure. Within EMs. So this is max width there. Should have just done a rename there. Oh well. There's new options. Options for the word wrap. Okay, that's options for word wrap. Doesn't implement debug. Fine. It's copy currently, but it won't be for long. So in EMs, these things are actually gigantic, the font faces. This font, I think, is 2,000 EMs tall. Like a glyph in this is really, really tall. So like that T there is 2,000 tall and maybe 1,500 wide. What are we building? We are in the process of making a TrueType font word wrapping crate. So we're going to say that, let's say, we'll wrap every 20 characters, so maybe 30,000 EMs. That's right. What did we don't have a word wrap function defined yet. Oh, we do. It's down here. It's public. Why was that not found? Let's see, it wraps the... This is more just descriptive, isn't it? Or variable. Debug implementation. I don't know if... Can we do debug here? I don't know that base is actually debug. I don't think it is. Is it? Oh, wow. Okay. I'm missing documentation for these. Creates a new word wrap. Or the given font base. We should probably re-export that. Re-export the TTF stuff. Yeah, the big goal is rendering fonts in 3D space in Godot, and I decided today that this is also this should be generic enough that other people could use the font wrapping pieces. And I thought it'd be fun to create one of these crates. Creates a new word wrap with a given font face. So descriptive. Based on the options provided. Returns an iterator. Let's say returns a line iterator. Returns a line iterator that provides what? The wrapped lines? Something like that. See, this is supposed to be... See, it's saying the associated function syntax. Oh, I forgot self. Oh my goodness. Yes, and that takes a mutable self. I mean, for It's not like somebody's going to wrap something else given this. Well, they could. They could. Given the same font, wrap the next piece of text. So we won't take self. We'll take exclusive reference to self. All right. That's mutable now. Good. Now we have lines, and we should be able to assert equals. Let's see. We probably need to collect the lines, don't we? Because that's an iterator. It's an optional iterator. No, it's always an iterator. Wow. Okay. Vector of stir. And this here is going to be, actually, this is the actual let's expected. I'm just going to make some stuff up here. This is a test. I don't know what it's supposed to be. Wrap. And we'll clean this up a bit as we go along. Expected and actual. Done. Oh, actual. All right. They should fail horribly. Perfect. Cargo test. Hey, thank you for the sub. Licensed Rockbee. Is that Lisandro? Oh, no such file or directory, of course. Copy // control rust assets Godot regular here maybe. I don't know where it's expecting it. I think it's expected in source. Let's create. Yes, and thank you for the sub. All right. So coming back to this, let's make a new directory and stuff it into some like a test font directory. Test fonts. All right. Cargo test. Sure, missing debug implementations. No such file or directory again? Panic that TTF should exist. Oh, it's not reading it. It's reading it from where I run this. So we set it to there. Ooh, that gets a little messy. Okay. We need to fix that. How do we know where this file is? We need a relative path based on this. Based on where this file is. I think we have, what was it? we could use owned TTF, and that would just work for this. Feels like a little cheating, though. All right. I know there's a way to get your current directory. Where's maybe my other project? build.rs. So we can get the cargo manifest directory, build it up from there, like so. That's a path buffer, okay. This is gross. I don't know, it's not too gross. Best fonts. Auto regular. Yes, we need to import that. Path buff. Oh, standard DMV current exe. Oh, that's handy. I see, and then it could be trimmed from there. But the other option is to just embed it. I just don't feel like embedding it. Because we could use like a lazy static and owned TTF parser. Just wanted to try it without, see if that works still. Okay, still works. I found the font. Let's break this down into smaller functions. Function read font. That's owned data. Ah, yes. And we return this. Fine. Okay, it feels less awful again. So now we start to build out the other pieces. Currently, it returns nothing. Yay. Now, given the options, we're probably going to have some defaults inside of the options. One for detecting where things are splittable. Because while this is called word wrap, words are an interesting concept in that it's not the same in every language. Right? In English, you might have white space that separates words. You could also hyphenate words. In other languages, you don't have that. So I want to try to make this flexible enough that somebody could come in and, maybe with experience that I don't have, add something that can detect where kanji words are, or point me in the right direction. So, options here. That's given to word wrap. Let's step into that. Here's word wrap. Options not used yet. So we're going to be creating a number of spans. And we'll have to figure out how big these spans are. So, what question do we need answered here? I think the big question is, where is the text splittable? And if we split it there, is there a substitute that needs to be inserted? For example, what's a word that you could hyphenate? It's usually compound words. And I don't know. Can you hyphenate compound? That looks really weird. Multi-line. Like something like this, we would know that it's split it there. So I think the question that we need to answer is where the splits are. How do you split it? It feels like that's a right question to ask. So let's create a trait that can identify splits. I'm just going to toss it in here for a moment. Splitter. Separator. No, separator is something that ends between splits. I mean, it's almost like a tokenizer. Sanskrit is one of the only languages that has consistent rules that can be broken down. Oh, wow. That's interesting. What I forgot today. Forgot to get the little on-screen chat going. Read chat. Cargo run. Come on. Control. Colon. 2. I forgot the 2. There we go. So, yeah, I don't think the splitter is the right word for this, but the idea is kind of correct. Thesaurus. .com, sure, why not? Split. Chasm, crack, division, fissure. Rupture, separation. Oh, we could call it a cleaver. Slash. Bifurcate. Yes, we'll have a bifurcator. I like cleave. Sever. Splitter. I mean, it feels like this is more of the, like in a tokenizer, what is it that you're tokenizing on? And so this is going to be something that we can provide text to, and it would tell us where the next split is. So it's almost like a pattern, sever of lines. The reason I choose pattern, well, I'm exploring pattern. Pattern is something already here. Because a pattern can be something that takes an FM mute line anti-joiner. I like that one too. Let's go to options. Because here, when we create a new one of these, I think by default we'll have one. And we'll say, okay, we're going to use the white space splitter. It's almost like a tokenizer, right? We have tokens in here. Token tree, token stream. That's from proc macro. That doesn't count. So what you do see in here is instead of string or stir. Is it in here? Split. A little further down. Split. You can pass it a pattern. In which case you will get split. Wonder if we could reuse split. What is split? Huh. It is an iterator. Double-ended iterator at that. Because if we could have something that splits, right, something that knows how to do this and provide these string references, that would be really nice. I think the problem is that at each one of these little joints, right, between like Mary and had, in some cases you might want to insert something else, like a hyphen. So if you did choose this one, you might have to hyphen at the end of Mary. Which is a bad example, I know. So maybe we do call it tokenizer. Because it creates tokens, but it's going to create special tokens. Tokenize. Stirring. What does this give us? This will give us an iterator? No. Because if it gives us an iterator, then something's going to have to own that, but there's nothing to own. It's not like it's going to be providing us probably going to need a lifetime here and here because these the output is likely going to have references into that. So this tokenizer is going to return tokens. A vector of token. But we don't know what a token is. We will export that in case somebody wants to implement their own. And then our token, probably going to have options. What? Okay, I know this has actually gone 180 degrees from the splitter idea. Because in this case, we could have a word here that is somehow stored, or option of words. Right, what if we wanted to say, oh, well, this token is really one of these two things. So given what you have, given what's come in, you could split this in the middle if needed. So choose one of these two things. I imagine that's possible. Because a token would probably be possible spans. Interesting. Because we'll end up needing to know where the white space is, how much white space there is. We'll have white space spans, other spans, and the possibility to inject things in the middle. Either that, or we provide the ability to ask whether or not a specific token can be subdivided. So if we did have a tokenizer in this, how would we ask somebody whether or not something could be further subdivided? Because we probably don't even want to go through the work of subdividing or analyzing every single word to see if it can be subdivided. Because if your word lengths, if your line widths are really long, it would just be a lot of wasted effort. Yeah, we should probably just stick with the. Okay, we'll stick with the tokens. Being words, not splits. And then if we do need something to be split further, or we get to the end and something's going to cross the end, we'll ask to see if we can then further split it. That could be something else on an option. All right, so we have a tokenizer that takes the string a vector of tokens, which probably needs that. I mean, is this a token or a span? Probably a token. Hold on. what is the purpose at this point? Because if we ask this thing where the tokens are, why, right? Why are we asking this where the tokens are? Why aren't we asking a different question like how much text can you fit in this space? Or I don't know, let's just think outside the box for a minute. What other questions could we ask? Because this feels like it's falling back into like, well, using a tokenizer. Let's come back to word wrap. All right, it says we're back. Yeah, who knows what that was? Interwebs. That could have been my using Starlink at the moment. Okay. And it's really good. I like it. And if it just gets better, that'll be awesome. Mr. Moneybags. Oh heck, this is... Okay, now, little secret. I pay more per month for internet where I live than that. And I'm paying for less than 10 megabit per second. And it's close to double that. So Starlink is going to save me money. Yeah, not all of us live in places where fiber is rolled up to your mailbox, up to your front door. Yeah, I live away from civilization. People don't just walk up to my home. And quite frankly, nobody's invited. So stay off my lawn, kids. All right, so let's keep going with this. I like the idea of knowing where it's safe to split. Right? It's kind of answering the opposite question. Because when we're doing a word wrap, we really just want to know, can I remove these tokens? Or which tokens are between words? And is it needed? Is it required? Once you fix up your house in the country, you'll have the same plan? Yeah. I moved out of Silicon Valley a while ago, and I'm glad for that. It's just not my cup of tea. I like the people, but everybody, we were just right on top of each other. I didn't grow up in a place like that. No. I don't think I want somebody to answer tokenize. Give me a token. This is going to be like a reverse tokenizer. Here, let's have struct here. No, an enum. Token type. I want to know whether or not this is required or not. required optional replace with, say we can replace it with a string, right? What else could we do? Required optional replace with, like you could optionally replace this with such and such. Sure, why not? Because white space in English is optional at a word break. And I think we would include everything up to the point where we break. Let's just go with the first two for now. Type. Token kind. All right. In this case, we'll have our token kind. And then we'll also need to know where we were, or what the token is. The text, token text. That way, if we have a language that doesn't have white space, we can create these tokens that are like character by character, right? So let's say you're doing kanji and you have like A, B, C, D, E, right? I'm just using, of course, English, well, not English, but ASCII characters here. Now, if we did want to be able to say that each one of these was an individual token, we could using this. Or we could split it like there, right? Say the first two are a token. And we could say maybe the third one is optional. Romanji. That's great. So I like this. I don't need to know whether or not this is white space at this point. I don't need to know anything about it. All I need to know, is it required or is it optional? And so, required, the English alphabet. It's not even the English alphabet. I mean, come on, we bill for things. We are inspired by things. It was research, not plagiarism. All right, I'm gonna pour some tea out of tea. But I think I like this pattern of just knowing that something's required or it's optional. I think that's the fundamental portion of this. All right, we got some tea pouring. I'll tell you, that Starling stuff, something that I would have not done before is downloaded a 12 gig OS 10 update and applied it. But it's easy now. It took an hour. I would not have been able to do that before. I would have very slowly downloaded it over the course of a week, using some browser that supported Reconnect, or try to find some torrent of it, because torrents actually work really well for resuming downloads. All right, so if it's required, must be used. Oh my goodness, GTA 5's launcher didn't allow resumes. Like in what universe is this stuff still okay, right? Resume has been a thing forever. Let's say the token. Let's say the token. The token may be removed at a line break broke. EAK. I like to think that everybody at Rockstar lives in like one of those ivory tower places, right? Not someplace that you would need to reconnect. Yeah, absolutely. All right, syntax expected a comma, tokenize. Oh, I have to give it a string. Text, we'll just call it a string. We have to give it a name. There we go. So we have tokenizer, token kind. Maybe we'll rename this to parser, this file. No, tokenizer's fine. Fine for now. All right. Because then our tokenizer can just say, hey, this thing's that, and so on. And why would we need a span if we just use a string slice? Spans might be useful inside of the tokenizer to keep adding to something. All right. Okay, where's this thing breaking? Oh, it's actually compiling. Lies. So let's implement a white space tokenizer for this, and then the word wrap. I think we're going to have a number of stuff in tokenize. Maybe we should call this like a tokenized module, and then inside of that we have the trait. We've got the other stuff. I don't know. For whatever reason, that name here just doesn't fit for me. I mean, parser, maybe, but tokenizer is not quite a parser. Token kind. All right, let's implement a white space tokenizer. Struct white space tokenizer. It's gonna have something in here. We know it is. And then we will impl that tokenizer for white space tokenizer. Okay. Is a rock and rye appropriate at 10 a.m.? What is a rock and rye? Is this a beer? Uh-oh. Hey, it's back. It's back. Come on. You can do it. All right. What does it think that this tokenizer is? Oh, shoot. I haven't added tokenizer in the lib. That's why. I'm going to call it tokenize mod, tokenize. All right. We are going to explore and rename this. Oh, you know what? Why don't we just create a directory? Put all the tokenizer stuff in the directory, and we'll have a mod in there with the white space tokenizer and all that other stuff. We can have files and stuff in a directory. So directory, tokenize, great. Now let's move this one. We'll rename tokenizer to tokenize/mod. Mod. There we go, there's mod. Oops. Okay. Now what did we forget to add to lib? Try again. Ah, perfect. That's what we needed. Wait, what? No. Implement missing members. This is wrong. All right, so at this point we've got our white space tokenizer. No idea what's going to be there for state. I mean, maybe the tokenizer is really just a function. This is nice though. We'll see. Well, where's the CD bomber peak? I mean, this is everybody's favorite, right? It's on topic. Speaking of drinking and programming. So the Balmer Peak, called the Balmer Peak, it was discovered by Microsoft in the late 80s. The cause is unknown, but somehow a blood alcohol content between 0.129 and 0.138 confers superhuman programming ability. However, it's a delicate fact requiring careful calibration. You can't just give a team of coders a year's supply of whiskey and tell them to get cracking. Has that ever happened? Remember Windows ME? I knew it. I mean, this is great. All right. So we're going to take the text and we're going to create tokens based on this. Let's create a white space tokenizer. All right. So at this point, we're going to be returning a vector. Let's go ahead and start that. Let tokens equal a vector of new. Then we'll go ahead and return that tokens. Oh, today's actually wrong. And so today, I'll go ahead and just answer that. We are working on that psychological thriller game, but part of this is we've started to create a crate that can wrap TrueType font text. A word wrap it based on a given line. XKCD does have, it's like The Simpsons, right? Simpsons did it. Now, a white space tokenizer is going to have a couple of different pieces. I'm going to split this up into its own file. Source tokenize white space .rs. So I think if we look at split here, split's not going to do exactly what we want. Well, it might. I don't want to lose the white spaces though. I don't want to lose the white space. I need to know, is it white space and does it get added to the previous span? Okay. Now, created that into a different file. Pub. Pub mod. There we go. Apple pie in Jamaica costs $2.50 and $3 in the Bahamas. These are the pirates of the Caribbean. Oh no. That's a good one. That's a good one. You know, that's your first joke that you've told here, I think. Because I'm going to add it to the list. Where is it? Microsoft OneNote jokes. There we go. Morning, Raimo. All right, give me a minute as I add that. Here we go. Okay, back to the code. You know what? Oh. All right. So we have our white space mod. Going back into here, we're going to create our little white space tokenizer. Pub. Impl tokenizer. Yeah, we need that. I'd prefer this coming from not super tokenizer, but crate, yada yada. But I understand. Okay, we'll just. All right. And by the way, I have now then forwarded this joke onto the dad jokes forum at work. Let's see how that goes. Last one went over really well. Okay, so we have token, we've got that. I'm guessing that span is also going to need to be inside of tokenize. Let's move span. Floor up. That's a great question, Raimo. And I'm actually wondering about that because if I decide to move tokenize to someplace else and I'm using super inside of there, then I don't have to worry about it. I change the one import to tokenize, right, to tokenize mod. However, if I do rename tokenize, then I have to change all of those files, which, quite frankly, is really easy to do. So it's kind of, six of one, half dozen of another. Because in one case, like if you use like a set in place, something like that, it's really easy to find all those places. Well, I don't know. Actually, it's not because I've been using the globbing. I guess not the globbing, but where you might have use crate colon and then boo bar, and that would be harder to kind of mix and match and find. So maybe super is better in this case. You can also have the visibility constrained to saying this object is only public to super and below. Right, so that works too. Because there's pub is like pub everything, but then you can also do pub super or pub crate or pub self, I think is also one. Is that one? I don't remember. So there's lots of different options for controlling the visibility. But I'm gonna let Rust Analyzer do its thing. I want to see how it ends up because I haven't tried it before. Just letting it do that. I'm new to that. All right, we're going to move span. Span. Let's rename you into tokenize. Span. Okay. Give that a close. Oh, for you, Rust Analyzer usually recommends crate. How recent are you on your Rust Analyzer? I think I'm maybe one off. No, I'm on latest. So I'm on the latest weekly build. All right, so if we were to continue with our tokenizing fun, pub mod white space, token, tokenize, etc. Let's see, word wrap, yeah. This might change a little bit. I'm just gonna fix it for now and then come back. Let it tokenize. Oh, because tokenize doesn't have it yet. Pub mod span. O.2.473. Ah. Yeah, I'm not sure what O2473 maps to in terms of the weekly builds. Okay, get rid of that. Okay. Now our test should still fail, but everything should compile hopefully. Good. It might be different if, yeah, that could be the case. Okay, so just to go back to where we were inside of lib. Doing a little test here. I'm trying to do a word wrap, and we're going to do a white space word wrap. So our default options, I would like to have some sort of tokenizer in here that defaults.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming.
Let's see, here we're going to need some T that implements tokenizer. T. Where T? Tokenizer. I mean, in fact, we could just make this. Oh, we could use Dyn with this, so we could actually swap them out. Why don't we do that? Actually. Tokenizer. Oh wait. The trait tokenizer cannot be made into an object. How about now? Okay, and tokenizer doesn't implement debug. Fine. That would be weird to force people to implement debug on tokenizer. Oh, found derived macro, sure. Huh. Alright, going back to the other one. Save this, go back to options. I'm going to delete the debug on options. Or, no, we'll just implement options, debug for options. The standard format debug or options. Let's give us an autocomplete f dot. What is it? Struct? Where was the struct one? F dot. Hold on. I'm remembering. Debug struct. We'll give it a name. Options. Dot field. And then we give it the name of the field name. Max width. Now in this case, so we gave it the name. Now we need to give it the value. So self dot max width. Then there was also like a done or a build finish. There it is. Okay, so that should be the whole thing. We could add tokenizer to that. Missing lifetime specifier. Yes. And this is a good question. Maybe we build up the different options based on the kind of tokenizer. That gets a little odd though. Or maybe we because we could use the trait objects or we'd stamp it out. The thing that I'm trying to avoid is somebody having to specify what the default type is here, but maybe we can. white space tokenizer. Yeah. Oh, it's not a trait, of course. Equals. That's what I wanted. Where a tokenizer. So we'll default it to the white space tokenizer. Then if somebody wants to override it, they can. Godot does support Rust. There is a project that uses GD native and makes Rust available. Got a command there. All right, and in this case, we could go back and say this is debug. Let's go ahead and scrap that because we can force tokenizer to also. Let's do a standard format debug. It's silly, but it'll work. Okay, now here we're going to need the same thing. D. Yes, thank you, Xenocron, for the command. All right, we are missing tokenizer. I feel like I need an options builder for this. This is funny because I'm going back and forth between the Dyn trait and the tokenizer. I mean, we could just box up the tokenizer. Here, let's just, we're going to box the tokenizer. I know, back and forth, back and forth. That way we can have different tokenizers. And if somebody wants to modify the tokenizer, we'll create a little function pub, function with tokenizer. And in this case, we will take self and a tokenizer. This might work. And we can box it up. Tokenizer is equal to box to tokenizer. Then we return self. Now self in this case does need a tokenizer. We're just going to use the default. Yeah, well, we could also do this maybe a different way, where the tokenizer is lazily created if it hasn't been created already. That's another way. Because we don't have to make these public. All right. Oh, and let's get rid of the T's here. That and that. Okay, fine. Back to where we were. Oh, the size of values of data. Oh, I don't have a new on that yet. Is there even a new for that? There's not a new. Go back to tokenizer. And that one's fine now. Should be able to do that then. Clone is not satisfied. Oh, fine. Don't care. Get rid of clone. What else do we have? Impl tokenizer. Ah, yeah. Interesting. I don't know how to do that to make that an owned thing there. I know how to do it here. Or if we say this is T, we could just okay, T is a tokenizer. Explicit left-hand bounds. Why? Oh. I can say it's static there, which means that it's owned in this case. Okay, changing it to be mutable, and it's missing documentation. All right. Look at that. Okay, so now we have all of those lined up. Still the test fails. So we haven't actually implemented the white space tokenizer. Same. Nothing. All right, I want to go back to the test. I like working from the test and making sure that the interface is clear enough. All right, then we pass the options in. We have our options. And at this point, we should be able to call the tokenizer. No. Oh, I need to get the tokenizer. Let's make that. We could make that public. Or we provide a function that gets the tokenizer.
Take your words back home, but back away nice and slow. Feel the ebb and flow. Please get sucked out to sea. I wonder where you are.
As ref.
'Cause you know I take these things kinda extra hard. This back and forth.
Freight objects without an explicit DIN are deprecated. Oh, that's right. So what can we do with box? I haven't used box a ton. No, wrong one. This window. Because we could clone the box. So we have asref here. And asref returns what? ROT. Okay. There we go. So now we have our tokenizer. But tokenize. What was our tokenizer interface? Yeah, it's just tokenizer, tokenize. That's silly. All right. So we get the tokens back. Oh, options is not mutable. Can I borrow data in? Why not? Ah. There we go. We need a mutable reference to this tokenizer. Now we have unused tokens. Great. Now, these tokens don't actually do much. They are horrible, horrible tokens. Because now we need something that actually takes the tokens and wraps them. Right? That looks to see, can this thing wrap here? So there's our spans. Why don't we just, for the moment, well, I don't know, we need to provide something that can do this. This is going to be the built-in function. That's doing the, that's looking at all of the tokens and then adding them to the lines. And I think our tokenizer needs to use spans and not string slices because we need to be able to combine spans. Okay. Let's go back to the tokenizer for a minute. Well, that's on options. Now I want tokenize mod. I thought this file got moved. Yeah, it got moved into mod. Uh-oh. Okay, maybe that buffer was just old. There should be a mod. Here's our token. We'll use a span. And our spans probably need that. Self span. Great, span. Great. Tokenize. Span. Oh, that's awful. I don't like the duplication. And our span here has a start and an end. It's probably okay. Which means that we would not need to know the beginning and, the lifetime. That is a nice change. Also means we don't need this lifetime or that lifetime. I need to stop butchering the code. There we go. Alright, that should result in another error. Here we go, good. This could be copy. I don't want to promise copy though. Oh, token kind doesn't implement debug. There.
When winter comes, when life is frozen, when the moors they hide away under the snow, fingers of doom will clutch the chosen, all beasts will shiver from the
Well,
light
copy.
to the crow.
I meant clone for these. My mistake. I don't want to put copy on token kind because I think that it might eventually have string in it. And if we do get to the end of that and we can add copy, we will. But not right now. Yes, I know nothing's ever constructed. That's fine. provides lines as star. All right. Just cleaning up some more of these warnings as we go. Okay, what other warnings do we have? All right, dead code. Yes, we know those two. Unused variant text and unused tokens. Yep, we'll get to that. Yep, we know those. And this one here. Yes, we need to implement our tokenizer. Perfect. Still fails. So now our tokenizer needs to do stuff. You want to use Rust for game dev, but you don't know how impacted the processing time per frame is. In order to use Rust, I think the fastest... So, because Godot is written in C++, if you were to simply modify Godot, that would be probably the best. However, it's not my favorite. Now, if you were using GD native, right, I believe they have some sort of intermediate form that represents these scripts somehow. I haven't looked into it, but GD script isn't the fastest, isn't the slowest, and usually works for just about everything. Now, Rust is going to be fast. Rust is as fast as C++. The performance penalty that you would see is when something needs to be translated between Rust and Godot, because the types don't always match up. So sometimes you have conversion functions that'll have to be called when going from one to the other. But if you're like generating meshes, Rust is just as fast. I would be surprised if you could get yourself into a situation where Rust was slower than, let's say, GD script. The only time I think that would ever happen is if you were somehow calling from GD script into Rust for something that is incredibly trivial. Like, give me the number 3 or something like that, and it's just having to go across the API boundary. Yeah, Rust is going to be fast enough, but also, if you're doing it because you like Rust, cool. If you're doing it because you want to make a game, check out GD script. I'm using Rust because I like Rust, so, but I don't want to say that GD script is bad, because I think GD script is actually pretty darn good, especially their integration with their editor, the syntactic sugar that they have in there. It makes things just fly in terms of getting things time to market done. All right. So now we're going to start building up these spans. We're going to need a little state machine. All right, so in this case, text.chars, because we're going to be looking at the chars. This is our iterator. For chin text.chars. Now, we are going to go, oops, sorry, I just nailed the mic. We're going to be adding things to spans when the type changes. So when we go from one kind to the other, which we will use a little enum for. Or you know, we could just keep track of what the last kind was. Because in this case, we just have two states. Is it white space or is it not white space? So let's try to keep it simple. I know we could use some more clever things, but we also need to enumerate here because we need the index for the spans. In which case, we'll get the index, ch here. And now I'm going to peek at the chars. And extract that into a variable, rename it. We'll just call it chars. Because I want to initialize a boolean that has the last character state. So let mutable last char. Let's see. Let's just call it was white space. It's equal to chars first. I think we can call this on an iterator. Chars first dot is white space. Oh, does chars not have that? I thought iterator had a first. Has fold first. Alright, well in this case, do this twice. You know what, I'm going to get rid of that and just use text.chars again. Oops, let's keep that, just change this to next. That'll give us the first one, and we'll know if the first one is white space or not. Oh, and it's optional, because we might not have anything in the text. Nth on chars? Oh, maybe. Oh, it does have nth. We'll just use next for now, but that's a good idea. Bum bum bum. I forgot that it's possible it doesn't have anything. Should we just return early for this? If we have no text, just return default. I don't want to handle this case. If text dot is empty, then we will just return back now. Fail early for empty text, great. Now in this case, we know it's not empty. Unwrap, okay. Yes, and we know that's not implement, great. Set the previous state to the same as the first character. And that'll simplify things just a little bit by having that there. All right, and we need a span. Span to collect into. Or we could just know span beginning and end. Or we just use a span. Yeah. Span no. Span default. Super span span. Generate new, sure. All right. Now, when the type changes, when it goes from white space to non-white space, we will create a new span. So whenever that toggles, we know to create a new span and save the previous span in the tokens list. You know, it looks like we could probably, with the white space tokenizer, we could probably generate spans as an iterator. Maybe our tokenizer should just return an iterator instead. Because our iterator would just keep scanning forward until it toggled, and then it would produce another span. So we could implement some sort of iterator here, little white space, space iterator. Infiltrate not implemented here. That's right. No, we'll just return white space iterator. And then the rest of this can just go into the iterator, and whenever it calls next, it'll provide the next little sequence of work, instead of it doing it all at once. And then we don't have to allocate the vector.
Love came in and thawed my heart. After a winter so cold, it left me frozen inside.
So when we create one of these, we need to give it the text.
The melody was enough to rewrite my story. There's no place I would rather be.
Oh, interesting.
Than in the light of your sun, it changes everything. There's no face I would rather see.
Because if we do it this way, because we're implementing tokenizer, this needs to be consistent. And we can't implement we can't do white space iterator there. It has to be some sort of iterator. All right, down the rabbit hole. Oh, that's funny. Oh, it's okay. This is the Rust game. This is how we play Rust. Oh, is the I have not been listening to the lyrics. Is this one of those gut-wrenching we'll thumbs off it. I'm kidding. Um well, we could create a tokenizer. What if we inverted this a little bit? So here's our tokenizer, right? What if we just needed something that could provide, like here, vector token. That's so simple and straightforward. But I would rather return some sort of iterator. I would rather return an iterator here. Iterator, where item is a span. That is what I want. But we can't do that on this, can we? Wait. We can. Oh, lovely. Okay, that will work. Let me get rid of the white space iterator for just a sec. I'll just fix it. That's right there. The trait sized is now implemented for dyne iterator plus static. All right, just for now, we've got to return iter, so that compiles there. All right, let's say that it has to be sized then. Let's see if this will work. Can we plus sized? Only auto traits can be used as additional traits in the trait objects. Grr. It's interesting that it doesn't care here. It only cares. I think these two errors are the same. Let's okay. You can make a new trait bound for both iterator and sized. Oh, sized iterator. Oh, okay. All right, let's do that. Thank you, Ramo. Pub. All right. Great. I want this to be the token iterator. Span. And that inherits from iterator. Sorry. Plus sized. And then just an empty implementation. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense because you're combining both of them. The trait token iterator cannot be made into an object. Is it maybe sized? Alright, but the other error here cannot be made into an object. Token iterator, okay. Object safety. A trait is object safe if it has the following qualities. It must not require self-sized. Oh. Okay. All super traits must also be object safe. Okay, well, we're not making an object safe item. I see larger errors here. Oh, that's an actual error. Is that an error because... Let's see. Rust, return, iter, from trait. What is the correct way to return an iterator? Actually, the second one. Oh, interesting. So you could use an associated trait type. Oh, Boxstein. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. That would work too. Or we could use the associated trait types. But I don't know if... associated type defaults are unstable. Oh, for this. Yeah, you need more than one. Let's go box it. Boxing sounds like a fabulous idea. Oh, yes, let's go fix the other implement instances of this. Incompatible type. Box. Token iterator. That's odd. All right, where are the actual errors? Mismatch type. Oh, for the bottom here. Sure. Yeah, let's just say it's unimplemented, shall we? Not ready to think about that piece yet. Yeah, or this one. Okay. Okay. That's good. Well, I think it's coming along. I'm going to I have to get on to work. Day job. It's day job time. And tomorrow I can't stream in the morning, so I might try to stream a little bit later tomorrow if I can. Got a buddy coming by tomorrow morning. So let's see, I'm gonna get going. Who shall we raid today? Let's see, we've got Hardliners doing C++. Oh. Let's raid Ryan Levick. I do hate that. Ryan, oh, what was his name? Levick. Oh. All right, y'all. Oh, yes, you boxed it. Okay, great. That simplifies that. Oh my goodness, Ryan Levick just went offline. That was a close call. Okay, yep. I'm gonna have to search again. Oh yes, I will have fun today. I am rewriting some stuff, some JavaScript. I've been working on our build system at work. So getting our JavaScript faster to compile, which is amazing. I actually switched up to use the swc.rs thing. So Webpack combined with Swift makes it quite a bit faster for us. But there's one case that it doesn't compile the same as Babel, and I am trying to figure that out. So I think I just have to rewrite the code. It's a higher order component that had higher order components on it. Well, decorators. Higher order component with decorators. And that is just not working. I don't see anybody doing Rust right now other than myself. Does anybody have any suggestions? Raimu, you gonna stream? We could raid you. Or Ekton, if you came back, we could raid Ekton. All right, y'all. I know you have been out, and I've actually been missing your streams. Let's see, we could look up Godot. All right, let's see. Somebody's learning Godot. All right, I'm gonna raid somebody at random here. But they are doing Godot, so hopefully it's not too far off. We're gonna raid Ghoul Software. They're doing some sort of 2D pixel side scroller thing in Rust, and not in Rust, in Godot. So, till next time, y'all. Thanks for hanging out. Bye bye. Oh no! There, be right back.